We're so pleased and proud to welcome Senator Schumer. Senator, I'd like to welcome you to the podium. I'd like to thank you for being here with us today, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, well, thank you. It's great to be here, and I want to thank James Irving, the co-CEO, Bill Hart, James Lindsay, and Matt Traver, our two local officials, for being here today, and, of course, all the workers here. You know, the number one reason I'm here is a four-letter word, jobs, J-O-B-S. And I have particular sympathy for the workers here because it's not that well known, but my grandfather was a member of the tissue paper union. He worked for Doeskin Tissues in Utica, New York. That's how he supported my dad and his brothers all the years. So I have a particular affinity to paper workers because he was part of the paper workers union. I know the steel workers have taken him over now, but in those days they were a pretty strong and robust union, and it's great to be here. Now, we all know how important this company is to Washington County. It's the largest private employer, and unlike a lot of other places you read about that make things in America, it's growing. So when Irving took it over, it had 150 jobs. Today, it has 300 jobs. That's terrific, and these are good-paying jobs. And they've invested close to $300 million in modernizing this plant. I was told by some of the folks here that when they walked into the plant, took it over from, I guess it was Kimberly-Clark, it was so outdated it probably would have shut down. But instead of being one of these companies that comes in and shuts it down and just sells things for scrap or whatever else, they invested. And now it's one of the most modern tissue paper plants in the world, if not the most modern. And is this the largest in the U.S.?
It's one of them.
One of the largest in the U.S. And it keeps providing jobs from generation to generation. I met here Matt Etu. Did I say your last name right?
Etu. Yes.
Etu. It's a French name, so it's a little hard to pronounce. And his family's been working here 5 generations. Well, my goal is to see that, you know, 5 more generations can work here. And that's what I'm trying to do. So why am I here? Well, something very unfair happened to Irving that could affect the jobs here and, even more importantly, prevent the potential of continued growth of jobs. An 11% tariff duty was put on all products that Irving makes in Canada and is sent here. Those are not the products made here because they're in this country. But if you have to pay 11% on a large part of your sales, and it has to go as a tariff, that's going to hurt growth. And they gave me a little chart here to show you how significant it is. Look at this. Look at this. This year, they'll only pay about $18 million in these refunds, but it'll go up to $42 million next year. Now you say, well, you know, if a company makes a mistake, if a company's violating our trade laws, they ought to pay a price. But here's the catch. Irving did nothing wrong. They investigated 2 companies and found that they were violating trade laws. But they put the tariff on all 4, including the biggest one, Irving, which was not even mentioned in the investigation. You know, it sounds like something that might happen, you know, in a country without a democracy. You know, a dictatorship, or, you know, where someone can just come in and put a tariff on. But the Commerce Department did that. Just imagine if a judge was hearing a case and handed down a guilty plea before hearing any evidence from the key witnesses. Or 2 people rob a bank and they arrest 4 of them, even though the other 2 were nowhere near the bank. That's what's happened here. And so Mr. Irving came and visited me and told me, first I thought, what should I have to do with this? That's the Canadian goods coming here. But he told me that the money that is taken away from these tariffs could go into expansion. that if we're able to get this tariff, this unfair tariff listed, which I will do because it's only fair to the company, there's a potential for even more jobs here. Whereas if the tariff stays, there's a potential that jobs could even shrink and certainly not grow. So I care a lot about this. And I am here to say that what the Commerce Department did is wrong, and I am going to do everything I can to reverse it, and reverse it quickly, because it relates to creating good-paying jobs here in Fort Edward and in Washington County. I will go right to the top, to the Commerce Secretary, and I am pretty tenacious when I get involved in an issue. And I'm not going to let go of this issue till justice is done, to you, to Irving, and to this community, because it's not only the 300 jobs here, but there are many, I'm sure, as our mayor and our county legislators will tell you. It creates other ancillary jobs. You get money in your pocket, you go to the stores and the restaurants, and I'm sure you buy things from local suppliers and have local suppliers used. So there are many more hundreds of jobs at stake as well. Handing down a harsh punishment like this fine without a single shred of evidence of wrongdoing is wrong, it's outrageous, it's hurting Irving every day. And so I'm going to do everything. My pledge to all of you, the management and the workers, is I'm going to do everything I can to see that this unfair tariff put on you unfairly and without even any claim that you did anything wrong is reversed. I'll be calling the people at Commerce, including the Secretary. I'll call the White House. I won't stop until we get something fair here. No one I have said in Irving has done something wrong. They just say, well, this is how things work in Washington. Well, when there are jobs like this at stake, jobs that exist, and the potential of new jobs in particular, which makes me so excited, and the track record of Irving shows if left unfettered, they will continue to grow here. We can't let business as usual in Washington govern.